Fionna and Cake Season 2 has officially concluded, and of course with its season finale cliffhanger, as well as just through connecting the dots between Fionna World and Ooh, as well as its characters and what they're destined to go through seemingly in every universe, we can now create theories and or take a pretty good estimated guess on what just may occur in Fionna and Cake Season 3. In the finale episode, Huntress Wizard finally manages to save Finn through re-entering the seeds of herself that she had planted throughout the multiverse before she first came to Fionna World, using all of the power she has and more or less becoming one with all of them. But also during this, one of her kids from the farm world actually sees her and is shocked, as in the last season we found out that Huntress Wizard is actually dead in the farm world. But then him and his siblings all love to see her die in front of them, which of course clearly traumatizes them. I wonder if they added this scene because they have something planned for season 3, or potentially for another season revolving possibly the other farm world kids wanting to find their mother, or maybe even Farm World Finn going on an adventure to find his wife after hearing what just happened from his kids. But another theory is that through Huntress Wizard merging each different multiverse version of herself, she may have also combined the actual worlds themselves, and that instead of happening instantly, it will work like inosculation, making destined events that occur in other worlds happen at random times as the multiversal branches connect. And this theory becomes even more likely to be the case, as in the last scene of Fionna World, we see that the world has now become much bigger, and that they more or less have now gotten their own version of Ooh to explore. But then also, as we zoom out and see the world from space, we see that the world has no crater in it, unlike the world of Adventure Time, as well as a shining blue light in the distance. The theory is that this is of course a catalyst comet coming to hit their world. Whether this be a plot point in season 3 or another season later on, it will probably eventually happen. But another thing that is going to happen either next season or in another season later on is of course Fionna losing her arm. I would assume that this would happen in the next season, especially with all the lingered hints throughout this season, mainly with Fionna literally seeing the memory of Finn losing his arm, and then with this will more than likely also be introduced to either Fionna's mom or dad, as of course Finn lost his arm trying to stop his dad from leaving. So yeah, a lot of Fionna lore and character development is definitely coming. But the main plotline of Fionna and Cake Season 3 will of course be about Hunson Abadeer. As in the end credit scene, we see him come to Fionna World and confront Marshall. I would assume that he's looking for a new heir to take over the Nightosphere, as he obviously couldn't get Marceline to do it, and is probably now getting way too old to do it himself. But of course Marshall will decline the offer, as he's his own person and is not going to be bossed around or forced to be something, especially not from someone who claims to be his father, as literally his whole entire arc this season was moving on and dealing with exactly that via his mother. But as I think that Marshall will decline becoming his heir, I also think that possibly his mother will actually be the one to take over the Nightosphere in the end. But through Hunson trying, we could get a whole season full of Nightosphere and Hunson lore, with more Marshall songs, possibly Marshall meeting Marceline, or maybe even Marshall and Gary both meeting Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. And then what will probably happen by the end of it will be Marshall actually becoming part demon, or maybe even a vampire too, unless his mom already is one and so he is as well. Either way, it's definitely going to be an interesting season to say the least. But anyways, comment down below what your theories are for Fionna and Cake Season 3, as well as make sure you're subscribed to the channel, as just like with Season 2, I'll be covering the entire season whenever it releases. It obviously hasn't been greenlit yet, but I honestly don't see it not happening eventually based off that ending. But nonetheless, that's going to be the end of the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one whenever that is.